In Lesson 8 of Module 2, you will be multiplying decimals. There's two key words we would like you to know for the lesson. The first one is factor. A factor is a number that when multiplied by another number produces a product. I hope that you're writing the words in red on your note sheet. I'm going to give you an example. An example of factors are 2 times 8. 2 times 8 is 16. Okay, and these 2 and 8 are actually factors of 16. Okay, I'm going to give you another number. I'm going to pick a number. I'm going to pick 24. Okay, we can list all of the factors of 24, and I'm sure you've done this in earlier grades. 1 times 24 gives you a 24. These two are factors of 24 because when they get multiplied together, they're 24. 2 times 12 give you 24. These are factors of 24. 3 times 8, factors of 24. And 4 times 6, factors of 24. Factors are something when multiplied by something else gives you a product. And that, therefore, you really should understand the word product. Product is the answer to a multiplication problem. If your substitute needs to pause this video to make sure that you have all of the definition recorded, they may do so. Okay? So in order to teach you how to multiply decimals, we have set it up in 2 columns, okay? The first column's directions say line up the numbers without the decimals and multiply. So I'm going to take my first example and I'm going to pretend the decimals aren't there. 72 times 43. I line it up and I pretend the decimals are not even there, okay? You can pop them back in now, okay? And now I'm just going to multiply. 3 times 2 is going to give you 6. Now you do 3 times 7, which is 21. Okay. Now you're going to the tens place. So I'm going to put a 0 as a placeholder because you're not really multiplying by 4. You're actually multiplying by 4 over here, 4, 0. So I'm going to put a 0 here. 4 times 2 is 8. 7 times 4 is 28. And then I'm going to add my rows. And now here comes the most important part. You have to put the decimal in your product, okay? And this is where this column comes in. There is a fractional understanding of where to put the decimal, okay? 7 and 2/10 means that you have a decimal in the tenths place. 4 and 3/10 means you have another decimal in the tenths place. Okay, and when you multiply fractions, you're going to do top times top, bottom times bottom. So your answer should be in the hundredths place, okay, which if you remember from yesterday's lesson, hundredths place is 2 places after the decimal. 100 has 2 zeros. That can help you remember that. So if I want an answer in the hundredths place, my decimal should be right here. There is another way to do this, okay, a little bit of a shortcut. Okay, you count how many places are behind the decimal in your factors. There's 1, 2 places total. So you move your fraction in from the end of the number. You move your decimal in from the end of the number 1, 2 places, okay? So let's see if this works for the next one. Let's go with our first step 2. We're going to pretend these numbers do not have any decimal places in them. So I'm going to line this up like it's 523 times 23. Now I'm going to do my multiplication. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 5 is 15. Now I'm going to add a 0 as a placeholder. 2 times 3, 6. 2 times 2, 4. 5 times 2, 10. Now when I add these all up, okay, I get this as my answer. I'm going to pop my decimal points back in, and I'm going to evaluate it with the fractional understanding. 5 and 23 hundredths means I'm multiplying a factor with a hundredths place, 2 3/10 by a number in the tenths place. Top times top is 1. 100 times 10 is actually 1,000. And if you remember from yesterday's lesson, the thousandths place is 3 places after the decimal. So I need 1, 2, 3 places after the decimal. I'm going to pop it right there. So my answer is 12 and 29 thousandths. And let me check. There's 1, 2, 3 places total, okay, behind the decimal in my factors. 1, 2, 3, perfect. Both ways match, okay? Now, we don't really want you to use a calculator to do this because multiplying decimals has to be a fluency. You have to be able to do this without the use of a calculator. However, I just want to check my work to make sure I'm not making any mistakes for you. Okay, that is the correct product for number 1. 5.23 times 2.3, 12 and 29 thousandths. I would suggest to you that you're showing all of this work in your graph paper notebooks and then checking it with a calculator for accuracy. However, we are going to be checking your work for all of these rows. Okay, this is a fluency. Let me do the last one for you. Okay. This is 0 and 25 thousandths, so I'm just going to take the decimal out, times 0 and 4/10. I'm going to keep the zeros there, but I'm just going to take the decimal out and I'm going to line it up. I think it's easier for kids to understand. You never line up the decimal with multiplying like you do with adding and subtracting. It'll give you so many rows of extra zeros. You'll get easily confused. It's just not necessary. Okay, so take our advice, line it up like there's no decimals, okay, and then pop them back in. 4 times 5 is 20, carry the 2. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10, carry the 1. 4 times 0 is 0, plus 1, and 4 times 0 is 0. Now, I'm not going to go and multiply this second row here because it's all zeros, okay? So, fractional understanding, I have 1,000th in this row, and I'm multiplying it by a 10th. 1 times 1 is 1. 1,000 times 10 is actually 10,000. So my number is going to be in the 10,000ths place. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. That means there should be 4 places after my decimal. And I'm going to check it with our shortcut. 1, 2, 3, 4 decimals in both of these. So I have to make sure I'm going in 4 spots, and I am. Okay, so good luck with your Lesson 8 Educanon and your homework this evening. And you know what? Just to show you how I use a calculator in this lesson, I am going to show you how I'm going to check my work. Ooh, okay, so my calculator says this, and I have this, which is totally okay, because they are equivalent, because you don't really need these last 2 zeros here, okay, because they have no value. Okay, thank you for watching the video.